Greetings, people of the interweb. This is Jake here, and wow, that Star Wars video kind of blew up. I was not expecting that, because for a tiny channel like this to get over 2,000 views and the level of comments that I got is this is the first time, so incredibly surprising, pleasantly surprised, by the way. Because again, like I don't even have 300 subscribers, and even though I've had a couple of videos that I think got over like 1,000 views, I've never had this level of like interaction with commenters or anything like that. And like the comment section's been very pleasant, very civil, which is always always nice on the internet, regardless of what the platform is, YouTube, Twitter, any kind of social media. And I even got a few new subscribers. Again, always nice, especially for this tiny little channel that's been, going for several years. So to all you lovely new viewers and subscribers, cheers. It is much appreciated, because this is just, I recorded that video kind of just spur of the moment. And YouTube is really just a hobby for me. And I've only recently started to become a bit more active on the channel again. Because for those new subscribers, new viewers, this channel's definitely gone through a lot of different iterations over the years. It's definitely been a bit more kind of media focused, like doing like reviews and stuff like that. But yeah, so and I guess that's another reason too. Recording this is kind of debating, since I have started to become more active, is like what kind of content do I want to kind of shift towards, or kind of keep doing the same things that I've been doing. We're just kind of giving my thoughts on recent news, more so focused on like the kind of fantasy side, because fantasy is kind of my favorite genre. And even though we've kind of been living in this great era of not just nerd culture being as popular as it is, but also like this kind of resurgence of fantasy. But unfortunately, a lot of the fantasy content we've been getting, in my opinion, has just not been great. Because Season 1 of Rings of Power, unsurprisingly, was kind of shit. And you can check out my review that I did after I watched that show. And I'll probably be doing a review of the second season. I don't know if it'll be like episode by episode. It may just depend on kind of how I'm feeling, because after that first season, I was kind of like, the channel was kind of dormant, wasn't really doing anything, but I had some strong thoughts after that first season, and so was like, what the hell, I'll record my thoughts, and maybe people will be into that. And so, and again, that's kind of, I guess, like what kind of first got me back to recording videos is, recent news about, Rings of Power, and then, of course, The Witcher, which, again, another fantasy series that love the books. Really like that first season, because that first season was actually pretty close to the first book. Because, for those of you who weren't aware, so the first two books, actually, are more just like a collection of short stories that Andrei Sapkowski wrote. That's kind of just like a Monster of the Week type deal. Up until Blood of Elves was the first, I don't know, I guess, main narrative in the story that it had, like, a clear structure to it, like, the beginning, middle, end, first, third, second, third act type of structure. And again, that first season was pretty close to that first book, where just kind of Geralt off on various adventures. And then immediately they just veered off and did their own thing, which was not good. So, and then Wheel of Time was another big kind of fantasy show. And I remember liking the first season well enough until I went back and read the first book. And I maybe have to rewatch it. I don't know, it's probably okay. Like, production value, like sets and stuff like that. I like the fact that they built like their own sets and all that. They definitely veered off from the books a little bit, and definitely left out some things that I really, some of my favorite parts of the book. But digressing. All that to say, the kind of recent fantasy stuff has kind of gotten me back into, like, recording videos, giving my thoughts on, new seasons or trailers or first looks or whatever it may be. And then, of course, like I said, that kind of spur of the moment Star Wars video that I did, because even though I haven't watched The Acolyte, just hearing about it and overall a lot of the negative stuff surrounding it, I don't know. I guess that was kind of the main reason why I decided to record that video, just kind of giving my thoughts on, as a lifelong Star Wars fan and where I'm at now. Huge shift. But again, like I've enjoyed the conversations that I've had with you all who have commented. A lot of good points have been brought up. Like, I wish I could remember who it was, but someone had brought up the fact that, obviously as we age, our interests change, which is a valid point, and I do think that is one of the reasons why I'm not as big of a Star Wars fan now compared to when I was a kid. Because obviously as a kid, I didn't have as quite the idea of what constitutes as, like, good storytelling, good writing for, like, dialogue, character development, all that stuff. And I mean, like, not to say that that's always, well, I guess it is kind of crucial, but sometimes I can still, like, enjoy movies or shows that don't always have the best, like, character development and all that. I can kind of take it for what it is. But when it comes to, like, some of my favorite franchises or favorite book series and stuff like that, or comics that get adapted, I admit I'm a little bit more protective, because I want to see that, adaptation. I want justice to be done to it. See a good adaptation, like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which I think is still a masterpiece, even though there were a lot of changes made. And then, of course, we get, like, Rings of Power, we get The Witcher Season 2 and 3, and then we get, like, some of the new Star Wars stuff, which, again, I will admit, there has been some good new Star Wars stuff. Most notably, Rogue One and Andor, I think, are incredible. Some of my favorite Star Wars content, like, of all time. Not just Disney era, but just of all time, I think it's some of the best Star Wars content ever that I've watched. Obviously, there's a lot of, like, the old EU stuff that I still haven't read. But yeah. So, I guess that's my very roundabout, rambly way, as in typical fashion, of getting to the point of this video, is just kind of wanted to, since I have a lot more, got a bit more traction on the channel here lately, I kind of wanted to post the question to you all, the viewers, the subscribers. What's the kind of content you would like to see more of here in the channel? Maybe you'd like to see more just kind of random videos of me giving my thoughts on a new trailer or a new movie, whatever it may be. Maybe you would see less videos of this, of, my pasty pale ass talking about random stuff that has no real significance to you and your lives. Totally understandable. Couldn't blame you one bit. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at, kind of deciding, like, where I want to take the channel, if I want to kind of maintain the same type of stuff that I've been doing lately. Obviously, I still want to kind of keep the podcast going, which the Pasty Pale podcast, for your newer viewers, has again gone through a couple different iterations. The initial iteration, which all those videos are still here on the channel, was basically me and friends getting together, and usually, like, reviewing, talking about, like, movies and shows, giving our thoughts on whether it was good, whether it was bad, anything in between. And then the new iteration that I kind of intentionally wanted to do, just because as much as I like movies and shows and stuff like that, I've got a lot of interest as well from, like, music. I'm a huge, like, love rock and heavy metal music. Could talk your ear off about that stuff. Love history, love geopolitics. And of course, like, the nerdy stuff, like comics and fantasy, sci-fi, and all that jazz. The reason why I started the new iteration of the Pasty Pale podcast is to just, get a friend over, essentially just hit record and see where the conversation goes. It's been a lot of fun so far. I've got 4 episodes up right now. Got a 5th one being edited. Don't know when exactly that'll be finished, but that should be up sometime soon, probably. So if you're a fan of me rambling about stuff, that podcast might be for you. Where me and a friend just again, we shoot the shit and see where the conversation goes. So that's definitely something I still want to keep on the channel, so that way that gives me an outlet to kind of talk about other things that I enjoy, that the YouTube algorithm would just throw that out of whack, because clearly the more recent videos that I've done are more, again, media-centric. But then if I decided to do like a video on geopolitics, I imagine that video would get very few views. I imagine people would not give a shit about that video based on the content that I have done so far. So that will definitely be something that I keep on the channel and do every now and then. But outside of the podcast, I'll probably do more videos, some kind of video, just to kind of keep the channel active and stuff like that. But feel free to give your thoughts on what stuff you would like to see more of. Do you want to see me do like trailer reactions or something like that? Because I used to do a lot of those, or less of trailer reactions and more trailer like breakdowns, where me and my friends would kind of do a podcast on a whole trailer of a movie and give our theories and stuff like that. Which, honestly, at this point, there's not a whole lot that really gets me that excited. So I don't know how interesting or entertaining that would actually be. But, again, if that's something you all would like to see, I'll gladly start, diving down the rabbit hole of trailers and reacting or talking about those and giving my thoughts. Or whatever comes to mind. I don't know. I'm still just kind of playing around and seeing what I want to do with this channel to keep it relatively active, because again, this is still a hobby of mine. I don't expect this channel to like blow up and become super popular. Would it be cool? Sure. But realistically, probably not going to happen. And maybe eventually, again, if it does start to grow, I will start to get better equipment, because as you can clearly tell, don't have grade A like webcams and cameras and lighting or anything like that. Probably the only decent thing that I do have is my Blue Yeti mic right here. So yeah, I guess if you all decide to stick around, I'll start investing more in the channel and get better equipment. So that way, again, my content will be a bit more palatable for others. But anywho, again, thank you again to you new viewers and subscribers. It's very much appreciated. Kind of gives me a bit more motivation to be more active here on the channel. So, Slanja. But that wraps up this very rambly, nonsensical video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and give your thoughts below, and I guess do the usual YouTube-y stuff of like, commenting, subscribing, or don't. I mean, you do you. Who am I to tell you what to do? Follow your gut. If you want to subscribe, cool beans. If you want to completely block and ignore this channel for the rest of your life, it's fine too. I can't say I blame you. But until next, everyone, cheers.